Newly released footage shows the incident that led to the arrest of Dallas native and Olympian sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson.
So Sha'Carri Richardson didn't just get suspended this time, she got erased. Wiped off the team like she never existed. No warning, no sympathy, no second chance. Just one cold, single email. You're done.
And some surveillance footage of the incident, which happened late last month.
Assault him. I didn't do anything wrong, but the fact that your guys are doing this to me and he's the man in this situation, I'm gonna comply. I am. I'm not gonna argue with you at all. But you have me on camera, but at the same time, what he has on camera, I have my phone, so something different. So if I need to show that.
And the reason? A leaked uncut video that shows exactly what went down with her boyfriend Christian at the airport, and why the league is now calling this the final straw. Now here's the twist. Fans are torn. Because the real question isn't just what happened. It's who's lying. Is it Sha'Carri, or is it her boyfriend Christian? As most of y'all already know, Sha'Carri was recently arrested at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport after allegedly putting her hands on Christian while they were rushing to catch a flight.
In the video, they are in the middle of an airport and he is visibly trying to walk away and she's like pushing him and like hitting him in the middle of a fucking airport in broad daylight. Like, as someone that's quite literally afraid to even record myself in public.
At first, it looked like just another messy tabloid moment. Sha'Carri probably thought it would blow over, like every other scandal, once the headlines cooled down. But she was wrong. Dead wrong. Because instead of damage control, she just got the shock of her life. Kicked off Team USA. And this time, it's not a suspension, not a warning, not a slap on the wrist. It's a full-blown cancellation, the kind that destroys careers and erases legacies.
I feel like it was just a sucky situation all around. Like, I don't feel as if like she should have been arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, people have discussions and emotions and stuff like that. And she has like things that she needs to work on for herself, of course. And so do I, so do you, like everybody. And I'm the type of guy, like, I'm in the business of just like extending grace and mercy and love. And I feel as if like I don't try to look at obstacles either. Like, I just look at like situations like this to just like, you know, take a step back, analyze yourself mentally, and then just try to see what you can do to be your best self so that you can move forward, so you can just be the type of person and a human that God needs you to be for his kingdom and for his glory. And so that's kind of how I look at the situation. And like,
sources say she learned the news from her agent, who simply forwarded her the league's email. And the wording? Brutal. No fluff, no sympathy, just pure ice. You are hereby placed on indefinite leave, effective immediately.
Yes, I do. My name is Sha'Carri Richardson. I do have my ID. Yeah, but I would definitely leave him alone. There's nothing that I want to do with him anymore. Like I said, it was a relationship thing. I need to get my stuff out of his bag.
Are you guys on the same flight, or?
We are later on in the day. Because our flight ended up getting delayed. We supposed to be leaving around this time of day, but the flight got canceled. So the flight doesn't leave until 10 p.m.-ish.
Okay.
So yeah. So if you don't mind, can I step over here so I can check my ID?
That's fine.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now, in track and field, indefinite leave is basically code for career over. No athlete comes back from that. And what made it even more devastating for her wasn't the ban itself. It was the tone of it. The message was clear. The league had had enough. They weren't just sidelining her until the media storm passed. They were sending a statement. Sha'Carri Richardson is no longer worth the risk. But here's the thing. This airport arrest wasn't some random, isolated scandal. It was the climax of a long, messy history.
Christian, are you serious right now?
So, man, in Washington State, he doesn't get a say.
But I understand. We were arguing. But I understand entirely.
Within 4 hours,
we were arguing.
Okay.
I'm not gonna resist, but I'm telling you that we was arguing. I didn't assault him. I didn't do anything wrong. But the fact that your guys are doing this to me and he's the man in this situation, I'm gonna comply. I am. I'm not gonna argue with you at all. But you have me on camera. But at the same time, what he has on camera, I have my phone, so something different. So if I need to show that, I will.
We have you on camera, all that here.
Okay, but I have my phone that shows something different. But Christian, thank you, Christian.
Don't talk to him right now.
Okay, I won't. Thank you so much, officer. They are arresting me right now, Christian. Sissy, they're arresting me right now. Am I gonna go actually to jail right now?
You are actually gonna go to jail.
Wait, but right now,
Yes, it's a physical in custody.
I didn't. Can he tell you that I didn't do nothing to him?
We have it on camera.
Christian, are you serious right now?
All right.
Christian, I'm about to go to jail because of you right now. You know what? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I will never talk to you again.
Sha'Carri has been skating on thin ice for years, piling up controversies like trophies. And to anyone paying attention, it almost feels like this was inevitable. Back in 2020, she already had her first major clash with the disciplinary committee. Everyone remembers Tokyo. She was supposed to be America's sprinting sweetheart, a guaranteed ticket to Olympic glory, until she tested positive for THC metabolites, a telltale sign of cannabis use. Next thing she knew, she got an email from the US Anti-Doping Agency demanding she submit to counseling. And just like that, she was slapped with a 1-month suspension that destroyed her Olympic dreams.
It's Sha'Carri, and more than anything, definitely a lot of self-reflection, a lot of understanding of not only putting myself in a compromised situation, but somebody that I have a deep care and appreciation for as well, is something that holding myself accountable. I see myself, I'm taking this time to not only see myself, but get myself a certain level of help that overall is going to reflect who I truly am in my heart and my spirit, and not allowing this moment.
She missed the 100-meter event she had trained her whole life for, and the world watched her fall from grace. And just when she thought the worst was behind her, the scandals only got bigger. After Tokyo, it wasn't just the 100-meter dash that Sha'Carri lost. She also realized she had been booted from the women S4-100 relay team, the event that was supposed to be her backup chance at redemption. And that's when the uproar began. Fans around the world were outraged. They argued the punishment didn't fit the crime. Cannabis, out of all the substances, a drug that's been legalized across half the country and doesn't even enhance performance? It felt excessive, almost personal. But behind closed doors, the league had a very different narrative. According to insiders, the suspension wasn't just about weed, it was about her behavior. For months, complaints had been piling up. Teammates whispering about how difficult she was to train with. Coaches frustrated over her lack of discipline, her open defiance of authority, her refusal to play by the rules. And the federation? They weren't blind to it. They saw a pattern forming. And here's the chilling part. That silence from her teammates today, it's deafening. When Sha'Carri's airport scandal exploded, not a single teammate stepped up to defend her. No tweets, no Instagram posts. Not even a vague sending love comment. Just pure silence. And that silence speaks louder than any statement ever could. It tells you exactly how they feel about her, and maybe how long they've been holding it in. But here's the real question. Why hasn't anyone exposed her until now? How did Sha'Carri manage to maintain this image of a misunderstood underdog when behind the scenes the cracks were already showing? That's where things get messy. Because her recent arrest didn't just spark headlines, it peeled back the curtain on a much darker, much weirder story. The first red flag? Her boyfriend, Christian Coleman. Remember, the whole reason Sha'Carri got arrested at the airport was because she allegedly put hands on him. Witnesses saw it, cops confirmed it, and that's why she was taken in. But just days later, in a shocking twist, Christian came forward to defend her. Yes, you heard that right. The very man who had just been seen as the victim, the one she supposedly assaulted, went public to say she did not deserve to be arrested. He called it a bad situation they found themselves in, trying to play it off like it was just a misunderstanding. But here's where it gets really dark. When the video of his statement surfaced online, fans noticed something chilling: his body language. Christian wasn't confident, He wasn't calm. He was shifty. His eyes darted around, his words stumbled, his hands fidgeted. He barely looked at the camera. It was the kind of nervous energy that screamed fear. The moment the video hit Twitter, it went viral. People instantly recognized the pattern, a victim trying to defend their abuser. One user summed it up perfectly. This looks like a textbook case of a DV victim justifying the behavior of their abuser. It's heartbreaking. DV should never be tolerated. And suddenly, the narrative flipped. What started as a sports scandal had just turned into a domestic violence bombshell, one that could take Sha'Carri's career, and maybe even her freedom, down for good. Now, this is where the story really takes a turn. Because even after everything, Sha'Carri still had a loyal fan base defending her. Some blamed Christian, saying he must have provoked her. Others claimed the whole arrest was just an overreaction by airport security. For a while, those excuses gave her cover, but all that collapsed overnight the moment the full video evidence dropped. See, Sha'Carri had already lied about her role in the altercation. In the beginning, she tried to play it off as nothing more than a typical couple S argument that got blown out of proportion. She painted herself as the one being misunderstood, claiming it was all just passion, not violence. And for a while, with only a short arrest clip circulating, people bought it. But then the Seattle PD released the uncut 15-minute body cam footage, and suddenly, nobody was confused anymore. At first, you see Sha'Carri smiling, acting calm, pretending everything was fine. But the moment she realizes the officers are actually going to arrest her, boom, a complete 180. She snaps. The sweet, cooperative act drops instantly, replaced with rage. She starts screaming at Christian, calling him a coward, demanding he tell the cops she didn't do anything. And then came the worst part. Sha'Carri tried to flip the script entirely. She claimed that he had hit her first. She pointed the finger back at Christian, saying he should be the one arrested because he's the man. Never mind the witnesses, never mind the fact that she had clearly been the aggressor. In that moment, she was willing to throw him under the bus just to save herself. But the real nail in the coffin came a few days later when TMZ dropped the airport CCTV footage. This wasn't speculation. This wasn't hearsay. This was raw surveillance video of the fight itself. And it confirmed every single fear people had been whispering about. In the clip, you see Sha'Carri shoving Christian, invading his space, and repeatedly putting her hands on him. Meanwhile, Christian doesn't fight back. He doesn't swing. He doesn't even raise his hands. If anything, he looks like he's trying to get away, stepping back again and again while she advances. But instead of de-escalating, Sha'Carri just gets more aggressive. It was undeniable. It was on tape. And just like that, the narrative flipped. What this video showed wasn't just violence, it showed manipulation. If that camera hadn't been there, Sha'Carri's version of events might have stuck. She would have been the victim, Christian the abuser. And the scariest part? She didn't hesitate to play that card when she was cornered. When the footage surfaced, the silence from her supporters was deafening. No more excuses, no more, maybe it was mutual. The truth was out, and it was ugly. So now all eyes were on Sha'Carri. Everyone waited to see how she would respond, because the ball was in her court. She could have admitted fault, apologized, maybe even salvaged some respect. But when she finally put out her public statement, it wasn't at all what people were expecting. In fact, Sha'Carri's so-called apology only made things 10 times worse. The moment her video dropped online, it went viral in minutes. Not because people were touched by her words, but because of how unbelievably fake it looked. See, on paper, she said all the right things. She talked about taking accountability, about reflecting on her actions, and about wanting forgiveness from the people she hurt, especially Christian. If you read the transcript, it looked like the perfect redemption speech. But when you actually watched it, the whole thing felt like a performance. Her facial expressions didn't match her words. She was smiling, almost giggling, like she was casually telling a funny story on IG Live instead of addressing domestic violence allegations. The delivery was flat, rehearsed, and robotic, and fans instantly picked up on it. One viral tweet put it bluntly: "This isn't accountability. This is Sha'Carri reading off a script her PR team typed up 30 minutes before filming." And honestly, that's exactly how it came across. The disconnect between her words and her body language was impossible to ignore. She didn't look remorseful. She looked like she was checking off boxes, but she didn't stop there. Oh no. Sha'Carri decided to double down with an Instagram story that made the situation look even more manipulative. She tagged Christian directly and wrote, "I apologize to Christian. He came into my life and gave me more than a relationship, but a greater understanding of unconditional love from what I've experienced in my past." Now, on the surface, that might sound sweet. But to fans, it looked like she was romanticizing the abuse and trying to spin the whole thing into a love story. Almost as if she was saying, "Yeah, I messed up, but it's only because I've never had real love before." The backlash was instant. Comment sections lit up with people calling her out for gaslighting, for downplaying the seriousness of what happened, and for dragging Christian back into the spotlight when he clearly wanted no part of it. Even worse, the so-called apology didn't mention the public, her teammates, or even the sport she represents. It was all centered around Christian, as if clearing things up with him would automatically clear things up with everyone else. But that's not how it works, and fans knew it. Instead of rebuilding her reputation, Sha'Carri's apology tour had the opposite effect. It looked calculated, insincere, and self-serving. And as the comments piled up, one thing became crystal clear. This wasn't the end of her scandal. It was only the beginning of a much deeper unraveling. Sha'Carri's last attempt at damage control came in the form of a written statement, where she leaned heavily on her past trauma as the reason for her behavior. She wrote, "Due to my past trauma and pain, I was blind and blocked off to not only receive it, but give it. I love him, and to him, I can't apologize enough. My apologies should be just as loud as my actions. Honestly, louder. Christian, I love you, and I'm so sorry." But just like her earlier apology video, fans weren't buying it. The response online was brutal. People called it fake remorse, a desperate script polished by PR teams but empty of real accountability. One fan summed it up perfectly. "There comes a point. She already had a bad attitude, got caught with drugs, now she's assaulting a man in public. Time to pack her up. If it was the other way around, Christian would lose everything." Another didn't hold back either, tagging her sponsors directly and demanding action. "I don't like her apology at all. She doesn't seem sincere and she's smiling way too much. Nike, Sprite, Hype Paris, hold her accountable and terminate her brand deals." And that's where things get really ugly, because the silence from her sponsors has been deafening. Sha'Carri went from being the face of lucrative deals to suddenly facing cold calls from brand reps asking if she could still fulfill contracts, or if they should just lawyer up and cut ties completely. Insiders are whispering that new contracts have already been shelved indefinitely, with companies unwilling to take the risk of associating their brand with her name. And if Nike makes the call to drop her, that's not just a lost paycheck, it's the end of her global image. For someone who sprinted her way into stardom, becoming both a fan favorite and a marketing dream, this suspension feels less like a timeout and more like a finish line. Now, Sha'Carri Richardson, once celebrated as the future of track and field, is sitting in silence. No posts, no clapbacks, no signature bravado. The same woman who ran headfirst through every scandal with her chin held high is suddenly standing still. And if this indefinite suspension sticks, she's not just off the team, she's out of the race, for good.